Hello, how y'all doing? I am here this morning, so um, I decided that I was gonna come on to YouTube live, and I was going to do a subject about first wives, and we've been planning to do the subject of first wives for a long time, and we haven't done it. Okay. So, hello, shalom, Shabbat shalom, K Berry, bestie, best friend, Mashika, and Coach Carr. Shalom, Zay, how y'all doing? So, okay, first wives, okay. um, what are first wives? A lot of people don't like to talk in numbers when it comes to polygyny. Um, when they hear these numbers in their heads, they think about hierarchy. And I know that my co and I think even my husband has spoken the last few videos about hierarchy and things like that. But when we're talking about um, first wives and subsequent wives and second wives and so on, oftentimes we're not talking about hierarchy. We're talking about ordinal numbers. We're just establishing who came first and who came next and so on and so forth. And in certain situations, um, these things, certain understandings, these things matter. Like I said, it's not hierarchy. We're not saying anybody's over anybody else. We're not saying anybody's better than anybody else. A lot of people outside polygyny have a lot of views concerning the matter, and they think that one might be better than the other, or one might be put on a higher level than another. So we're not talking about that. We're only talking about ordinal numbers. We're just talking about who came first, second, third, so on and so forth. Okay. Um, what I am about to talk about is typically in situations where the first wife has been with the husband a significant amount of time longer than the other wives. So I'm not really talking about wives that everybody kind of joined the family within a year of each other, within a 6-month time period with each other, and that does happen. But their situations are going to be different than what I'm talking about here. For example, I can't expect really a sister who has been with a man for 6 months and then the next woman come in. I can't expect her to know more about anything than the next one that came in. So we're not really talking about those situations. Those situations are kind of excluded from this conversation at this time. But a first wife in a polygynous family, let's say it's a couple and they are looking for the next wife or two or three or so on and so forth. The first wife is kind of the representative wife. She is the representation of the husband. She's a representation of the family. If she's been with him quite a long while, she will be a representation of the type of man that he's been this entire time. So, she's going to be the one that's gonna welcome in the new wife. She's the one that's going to be, I guess, kind of showing her the ropes per se around the household and how things are done. What their schedule looks like during the day or during the week and things like that. She's gonna get us acclimated and things like that. And that's as she understands them. So it's one of these things. If she know that he don't like cinnamon in his coffee or something like that, she might tell you, hey, he doesn't like cinnamon in his coffee. So that's not something that is done here. Her attitude towards polygyny is going to set the course of the entire family. So where your first wife's mindset is on this entire situation is very, very important. Okay. If she is truly down for it and she's ready to come in and she's ready to basically be kind of big sister to the new wife and things like that, then I don't think there's going to be much going on in that situation. I think that's going to be like good, you know. Um, but if she's only doing this because her quote unquote religion tells her that she needs to do this, if she's only doing this because you want to and she doesn't really want to do it, so the husband wants it, but the wife doesn't really want it, all of that is going to, you know, change the dynamic. It's going to make things stressful and things like that. So you want to watch out for that. You want to make sure that you as a first wife, if you are truly down for this, you want to show that you are down for this, you know, especially if you know that your husband is trying to bring in new wives. If you're truly down, you want to make it known that you are absolutely down and ready for this life. If let's see what else I got notes here. And everybody know I don't usually do notes, but I was like, you know, there's some very specific things that I want to hit here. If she is the type of wife that mistreats the husband, if she emasculates him, if she seems to be ruling over him, if she is yelling at him and is basically non-submissive and things like that, that will kind of show you that he is essentially a woman-led man. And to subsequent wives, to potential wives, like that's something to look out for. Now, if the woman is already coming into the family, has already joined the family, and she sees these types of things, this is going to teach the other wives how they can treat the husband, and that's not a good thing. You know, I mean, if he's a woman-led man, how many women gonna run this man, right? That's a lot of madness. So you want to watch out for her if she's like that. For the women that have not yet joined the family, if you see that the first wife or any of the wives do him like that, if they are ruling him and controlling him and things like that, you got to understand, if you join that family, she gonna be running you too, because she runs him. And you know, the neck turns the head. So you need to ask yourself if you want to be a part of that situation. And since you are not married to that man yet, it would probably be good of you inside yourself to back off from that situation. If the first wife happens to tell the potential woman coming in, if she tell you directly that she doesn't want polygyny, or if that's the vibe that she's giving you, and you probably need to directly ask her, sis, is this something you want for your life? And if she seems kind of standoffish or anything like that, I would backtrack on that. And I'm gonna tell you, it's obviously much better if you do that before you actually marry this man. And the reason it's good to back off right now is because there are so many men looking for wives. There are so many families that are looking to add wives to their families, and their existing wives are totally down for it and ready for it and looking for you. So, you know, you don't have to worry about not finding anybody if you stop this situation right now in the early phases. If you find out that sis does not want you around, or does not want polygyny and things like that, just step out. You know, if you choose to join that situation, expect drama and expect sadness and stress and things like that. You don't have to do that to yourself, let alone doing it to your sister, because his wife is your sister spiritually. So you don't want to do that to her. That's like girl on girl crime. Don't do it. Okay. Let's see here. We are, y'all talking. We're often asked what a first wife should do to welcome in a new wife, and our answer is always the same. Be a friend, be a sister to your sister, make space for her, make room for her. Understand, if she's coming into the house, she's going to be her own person. Let her be herself. If she likes to decorate and things like that, you got to make room for it and expect her to put herself in there. You need to help her find herself in your already established family, and give her her space, but I'm saying that essentially just everywhere around the house. For example, I mean, I'm not a big interior decorator. I don't put nothing on the walls. Other people like come put stuff on my walls for me. Like my biological sister like buys paintings and stuff and puts them on the wall for me. And my dad might like go get a picture framed and come like hang it on the wall. 'Cause I don't be thinking about stuff like that. But like if my co happened to have been the type of sister want to put pictures and stuff everywhere, I don't even have curtains. Like we never had curtains. Just everything just got blinds. If she want to put blinds up, if she want to put curtains up, she want to change the blinds, I don't care. She can do that. And I probably, oh, that's pretty. Okay, all right, that's nice. So I know some sisters don't even like that. They like, oh, this is my space, and I like purple, and everything got purple in it. And my co come in and she like blues and yellows and things like that. How am I supposed to rectify that? You're supposed to make room for it, because you need to understand that everybody's different and not everybody like the same thing as you. So there's that. Be open to friendship with her. Be soft on it. Don't push it. Let your friendship with this woman grow organically. Do not expect to just be best friends with your co. And don't be disappointed if you get off in there and he brings in another wife and y'all happen to not vibe on a best friend level. That is actually not necessary. People feel like it's necessary, and then people want to watch, for example, our videos and see the relationship that we have with each other, and they expect their relationship with their co to be the same way, and it might not be. Both she and I are of the agreement that it's okay if people aren't friends. But we are friends, and that's great. And plus, our husband definitely wants us to be friends. So y'all got to discuss that. Don't be bossy. If you're bossy and you're expecting a lot from her, if you're expecting her to go get her nails done with you, if you're expecting her to want to wear her hair like yours, if you're expecting y'all to like the same things, I guarantee you are going to be disappointed, and this is going to be a frustrating endeavor for all of you. So don't put her in a box any kind of way. You want to meet this person, find y'all's commonalities and work towards those. Everybody needs to be honest about what they like and dislike, what's going to get on their nerves and stuff like that, and what they need. If you need time to yourself for 30 minutes every day, for an hour every day, you want to make that clear. The other thing, wives that are coming in, sometimes, and these are conversations, these are emails and stuff that we get from people, and none of this is uncommon. We hear about this stuff all the time. Sometimes it seems like the coming in wives need to, I guess, make the existing wife like them. And so this happened even on Seeking Sister Wife with the Briney's. The Briney family. I don't know if y'all watched that show, but the first season, the Briney family, April was wife one, and those other two wives, in order to have any sense of peace, they had to stay on April's good side, okay? Because if you get on April's bad side, then the entire house is held hostage, So they talked to the husband, April's been mean and this and that. We're having this kind of issue. And the husband's like, well, I don't know. Maybe you could like take her out to lunch and buy her a gift. What? Why? Am I married to your wife? And I'm having to court her and get back into, no, we're not doing that. That should not be the existing wife, the first wife's attitude should not be contingent upon the wife coming in or the wives coming in making her feel good about this situation. That is the husband's job, and that is the first wife's job within herself. That is the existing wife's job within herself, to make herself feel good and secure in this relationship, in this family. And that should be the husband's job. You do not put all of that weight on a sister coming in that she got to make your wife feel good about this. And she's got to basically kiss ass. Like, don't do that. That's not cool at all. So I'm going to go to the comments right quick. So if anybody has any questions or anything, you can put them in But like I said, I am here by myself. So once it starts to slow down, I'm going to say deuces to y'all because I'll be leaving out of here in just a little bit myself. So, okay. Go with Jesus says the biblical New Testament term wife of your youth comes to mind. Yes, absolutely. And she should be acting like the wife of his youth. Um, it's a matter of anybody. When you're a part of a family, you are representing that family. So when you go out from your family, you need to be um, you know, handling yourself in a certain type of way. You don't be all overbearing and boisterous. The Bible calls it being sober minded. You should be as a woman of sober mind and such, and so on and so forth. So okay, let's see here. Kay Sanders says, Shalom, I'm a first wife and I understand this, and this is also what my husband has told me to do. Discern the new wives and teach them how he runs the house. That's right. And we're not always going to be perfect on that. And sometimes you don't know whether a husband will like something new. Like I was talking about the cinnamon in the coffee, for example. So it's like, okay, this is how you make his coffee. You want 2 spoonfuls of sugar and some creamer. And he liked this creamer right here. A new wife might be able to try putting a sprinkle of cinnamon in there. Maybe that's her thing and she likes it and she want to try sprinkling in there. And he might taste it and say, that's great. You know, hey, don't be married to any ideas. You know what I mean? Let's not be married to ideas. So, but yeah, that is our job. That is the existing wives' jobs, is to bring people in and make them feel comfortable. Khadijah from Khadijah's Corner says the second wife doesn't truly care to connect with the first. She's only interested in the husband. First wife has been around over 10 plus years. Second been around 8 months now. Is this a red flag? Husband hides from the second. Well, the husband's got to be, wife hides info from the second wife, but tells the first only. First wife is not comfortable with the situation anymore because their behaviors in this situational lifestyle. That sounds like the husband's not doing his job. I'm just going to be quite frank with you. There's no need. I mean, why is he hiding info from the second? Why does he feel like he needs to do that? Why does the second not truly care to connect with the first? I mean, and we got to look back at the connection and what that is defined as and everything like that. She doesn't have to be your best friend, sis. We should all have, you should have friends from somewhere else. And you shouldn't expect them to just come out of your marriage like that. So I'm looking at this situation. It might be a red flag, but the husband needs to make sure that his wives both feel comfortable. You can't make that other sister do anything that you want her to do. Like I said, it's not her job to make you feel good, and it's not your job to really make her feel good. Just as sisters, y'all should respect each other's space, and y'all should respect your position in that man's life. You're both wives. So that's a marriage and this is a marriage. You have to respect both of those things. And sounds like to me, like y'all gonna have to have a conversation. Okay. And sometimes these conversations already in marriage already tough when it's just 2 people. And then when you get a 3rd or 4th or 5th person, like y'all gonna be having a ton of family meetings and conversations. And it sounds like you guys are going to have to speak and be honest, be fair, stay calm. And you're going to have to talk about your wants and your needs. If she is not willing to be like best friends, you're going to have to accept that. We got blood sisters that people love. You love your blood sister, but sometimes y'all can't hang together. Sometimes y'all argue too much, and so y'all stay apart. And that's okay too, because the love is still there because y'all are part of the same family. So consider that. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily just call it a red flag directly. Let's see. Vanessa says everything you're saying is true. As a first myself, it's a fine balancing act when bringing in a new wife. Someone mentioned discernment earlier, and that is key. Exactly. Go with Jesus says 1 Timothy 3:2-5. A bishop must still be the husband of his first wife. If a man doesn't know how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church? Yes, absolutely. That's the way I understand that verse to be, and that goes into the Greek and the Aramaic and things like that. Let's see here. Aaron, my wife says she doesn't like the idea of sharing me. What is y'all's belief system? And what can you do on your part to bring her into accepting the idea, I guess, on some level? Um, Scripture asks that husbands be considerate of their wives. Polygyny is not a commandment. It's not anything you just have to do. I know people want to do it, but I think we would all be here to tell you that it's not easy. But marriage isn't easy either. When monogamy is not easy, we don't run off from it. So, hey, but I would suggest, I guess, Erin, that you have her watch our videos. And, there are books, and we have a video that talks about the books that sisters can read and things like that. So, keep the conversation going, but I don't suggest that you start any type of courting of any more wives until you get sis on board with your program, only because of the drama that it starts. I know that men are like, I can do whatever I want. Listen, if the Most High don't stop it, he don't condemn it, I can go out and get all the sisters that I want. And I know we don't like to hear happy wife, happy life, and I'm not even talking about anything like that. It's just a matter of lessening the contention in your household. You know what kind of woman your wife is. She's your wife. So, there's somebody's situation. I'm not going to use no names. And number one, number two, this was years ago. But I know of one sister who wife one locked sis out on the balcony in like 30-degree weather. Okay. Because wife one was side to side, back and forth into whether or not she wanted it. And it made her real insecure. And sometimes it causes people to go crazy to have that much insecurity and have to deal with this next person coming into their relationship. So she'd be okay sometimes, and other times she was not. And she locked sis out on the balcony. And if you know that your wife is unstable like that, you got some stuff to do in your household and some decisions to make. If you love her, and love clouds all things logical, if you love her and want to keep her, sometimes a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. You don't even have any other sisters that's available to you right now. You might want to just keep that one, especially if she's been a good wife to you. If she is just a combative, bossy, contentious, cantankerous mess, then you might want to get rid of her. But that's on you. That's something you're gonna have to decide. Otherwise, I don't believe in bringing. The Bible calls it bringing in a sister to vex your existing wife. I don't believe in doing that. I don't agree with doing that. That's not right at all. Hey, the other Mrs. My co is in the chat room. Her and the husband are out of town. And so that's why I'm here. And she's there with y'all. Let's see here. First, Vanessa says, what can a first wife do when the second wife wants the same relationship with the husband that you have? It depends on what you mean by that, Vanessa. You can't create years where there weren't any. People can only work from where they are. But if it has anything to do with the level of treatment and fairness and equity and all that kind of stuff, equity build up and being equitable between the two and things like that, really, first wife you can't do anything about that. You can only pray for those other two. You can only pray for your husband and his other wife and hope that she gets some comfort out of it. I know that you can make sure that your husband is being fair and balanced. And that's another thing. First wives, if you know that your husband is unfair, if you know that he's unfair and that he is imbalanced and that he is not treating people fair and things like that, that's a discussion that y'all are going to have. And if you know that before that sister joins this family, you and your husband are going to have a conversation on that, because that's just going to bring undue stressors inside the situation as well. Brothers, if you can't be fair, if if you know that it's a situation like situation number one, I love my wife so much. Yeah, I want other wives and things like that, but I love that first one so much that them others can never get that kind of love, never ever. You need to rethink your ideas of wanting polygyny. If it's a second situation of, yeah, my first wife is okay, but to be honest, like, she has gotten on my nerves for years, but scripture says I'm not just supposed to divorce her because she really hasn't done anything, but she's not so great at everything. So with my new wife, she's just better in all ways, and I'm just gonna shower her with absolutely everything and just not really pay much attention. Well, you need to rethink polygyny. You're not being fair. So there should be fairness in the other situation, and you should press your husband to be fair and balanced, because that is righteousness. And like somebody said today on Facebook, we're all righteous in our own eyes. Okay, but those of us that are Torah observant, and I guess people who adhere to the Quran can kind of feel the same way. The Torah says that you are supposed to judge yourself and others by Torah. Okay, that is the merit. That is the yardstick. Nothing outside of that is the yardstick. So fairness and being gentle with your wives and being considerate of your wives, that shows up in the New Testament. It's not in the Old Testament, but it almost goes without saying that that would make things a lot better. And so a man that has multiple wives, he's going to have to be fair with all of them, and he's going to have to be good and peaceful to all of them. So let's see here. Kay Sanders said to Aaron that her husband had to show her scripture and he had to put his foot down. And hey, I guess you had to get on board, huh? Well, that's good. That's good. She said, my husband gave me women to talk to. A woman to talk to. I'm having a hard time getting to know her. How do I do this, and how did you do it? Just be a friend. When you watch this video again, you'll see me saying, just be a friend, be a sister to your sister. You know, just like I said, people got biological sisters that they don't get along with and they don't have anything in common. It happens. But you still love her, and at least you see her on holy days, and you see her on people's birthdays and stuff like that. So you want to do that. Ibrahim Yisrael says, well, it's a damn shame in America that women don't want polygyny when sometimes they can't even count how many boyfriends, and it's backwards. Yep. But we live in a backwards world, and we're just hoping that that changes with time. I think the pressures in this country and the discomfort in this country for many of us is going to cause change. The more uncomfortable you are, the more open to change that you are. But nothing's going to change so long as people are comfortable. Kay Sanders, and she told hubby, I don't like her, but we can't even get on the phone to talk, so I don't know how she got this perspective. But then again, all she does is text, and we're 3 hours ahead. I don't know. Okay, just that if you don't dislike her, if your husband doesn't mind, like, you can be direct with her and say, sis, I don't dislike you, and you guys need to figure out, you and her together need to figure out how to facilitate your relationship, especially if you guys are both open to being friends and being sisters to each other. So y'all pray on that. Y'all the same belief system. Pray on it and start working together to make an effort. It's y'all's job to make an effort to friendship and sisterhood. It's y'all's job to do that and bring it together. So let's see here. The second did the same to me, showing him our conversations we have together, which makes him angry at first. They having a conversation in here. Dope law, as do I read the Bible every day. Not necessarily dope law. I spent pretty much all of my 20s in scripture with the fellowship that we were in, and we were in scripture daily, and we were taught Torah, and we were taught how to teach Torah, and it was a requirement that all of us would be able to teach Torah, and that's regardless of age or gender or rank or anything like that. It's regardless of intelligence or intellect or anything like that. We were taught how to teach Torah, And so, in learning how to teach Torah, you are taught Torah exponentially on many different levels. So, it's not something that I do every day. I don't, you know, I just don't like. I read the Bible from cover to cover every year for probably 8 years because of the way we study the Bible. That's how we studied it, and it made you read the entire thing over and over and over and over again. So that's not something that I do today. I read it, and I'm in there. So, but not daily. No. Let's see here. Oh, some of them like it though. They relish in the fact that he is lopsided. Yes, they do, Coco. They do, and that's sad that they would relish in the fact that the other relationship that their husband has is having drama. That's so negative, and I cannot think that anybody would like receive blessings out of that. With us, as we know, if one of us is having problems, it bleeds over into the thing. It's one of these things you don't want that man. He's trying to come to you, and it's y'all's time together and everything. Y'all trying to have quality time and stuff, but he's still upset or stressed or saddened or whatever from the other situation, and that's hard. It's better when everybody's getting along. It's better when it's harmonious. Let's see here. A man must always have his foot down. Look what happened to the male Adam in the garden. Yes, I hear that he should definitely have his foot down, but what happened in the garden? Eve, I'm saying Eve was left unprotected. Where was Adam when the serpent came and spoke to her? But on the other hand, the serpent went to the person that is called in scripture the weaker vessel, and that's who he chose to speak to. And just on a side note, so many pastors and all these other people, they will make these plans and go and talk to the wife first. That I was talking to my husband the other day about a situation where back in the day, and he remembers where there was a certain leader that always want to come and ask me what we as the family are going to do. And I would be highly irritated because I felt like it was out of order. And he told me to tell him, I don't know, ask my husband. And that's after about 2 times of that stopped. But it's like, it's the same kind of spirit of the serpent coming around and talking to the person that's actually just kind of like the wife is like the internal part of the family. It's like the soft part, the man is the armor. He's the outside and he's the protection. So he's the armor of the family. He's harder, more logical, supposed to be less emotional and all that kind of stuff. And the woman or women is inside and they are softer than the flesh. And so that's how the serpent got off in there. And I have to read it again, ask Adam, like, where were you? Like, what happened? Gorgeous, do you, for your experience, believe it's accurate to describe a man loving multiple wives simultaneously, like the parent's ability to love multiple sons and daughters? It's mostly accurate. Yeah, I mean, you obviously know that in marital situations that sex is involved, but if people will look at intercourse and understand that every living being does this. And while, yes, it is also a spiritual connection in a physical world and things like that. If I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. It's one of these things, women are like, well, polygyny, I just can't get over the idea of him sleeping with another woman. I just can't, you know what I mean? And it's like, but everybody and everything is doing it. It's kind of like you gotta step back from that. It's not special on that realm. On the other hand, it's very special. A husband is supposed to connect with his wives in that way, but a person can love multiple people. Hang on, I can't turn it off. Waiting. I can at least press this. Let me see. Okay, I can at least press that. Let me see here. And now it's frozen. Are we still there? Okay. That wasn't even a real phone call. How disrespectful. It's a fake phone call. Let's see here. Husband cannot be intimate in the same fashion. Well, yes, and that's why I'm kind of like Khadijah on that. But you have to understand that humans can love more than one person, and they just can. We all know that most of us, our belief systems, polyandry is like, no, it's forbidden. But that doesn't matter when it comes to Torah. It doesn't matter. It's just forbidden. So it doesn't matter that, a woman could love more than one man. But a man can definitely love more than one woman. It's a matter of fairness. And if he feels like he can't, then he can just stay with one. And I think that is the Quran right there. Let's see here. Okay. Coach Carr says, I want my girlfriend to be my first wife. I'm thinking at least 3 years before adding a co. Your thoughts? It's up to you. It's up to you, Coach Carr. There are pros and cons, and I was thinking about that as I was getting this stuff together. How, that we should have a video about the pros and cons of having wives that are close in the time frame that they come into the marriage, and the pros and cons of having it where the first wife has been here for a time and the second wife comes in. Is it okay to opt out of this relationship and live my life like she doesn't exist and just do my duties as usual without a thought of them? It's okay, but it's not the fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is that your husband has another wife. And also, it's good to understand that if something happens to him over there at her house, she needs to be able to call you, and vice versa. You should not look at your co as your enemy, even if you guys find out that you're not able to be friends. She is a family member. If something happens over there financially and she loses her home, if her house gets on fire and her children are put out, it's righteous of you to be able to open up your home and allow this sister to come and stay with you while y'all's husband, because he's both of y'all's husband, makes preparations for her to get another place. So I would really consider where that spirit is coming from. What is that need for you to live life like this other sister doesn't exist? And why does that make you feel better? I wouldn't feel right that way, even if I wasn't friends with my co. Dope lie. What are some good polygyny groups on Facebook? Inboxes. And I will tell you where to go. Let's see. Mashika, how long should a courtship take place before welcoming a second wife into the family? We don't like long courtships. Polygyny moves really fast, and we don't necessarily like it moving super fast either. Yeah, like, I don't know. But we don't like no 3-year courtships, 5-year courtships, and things like that. We don't really like 2-year courtships. You should know that all of you are there. You're coming into this because of marriage, and that is the goal, and that is the point. You should not need 2 years to figure that out. So I wouldn't say anything longer than 18 months, really. If you're not ready, if y'all don't have a place for that sister to go, if the house isn't big enough and things like that, y'all can take it slow. But if people aren't financially and mentally ready for this, and if people are still not sure that the other person is the one, and that goes for potential wives looking for women looking for potential families, and for families that are looking for potential women to come in. If y'all can't figure that out in 18 months, I'd probably say to let it go. And I'm like that with monogamy as well. Marriage is marriage, and that's what you're looking for. And let's not waste each other's time Let's not waste time, you know. So, all right, you guys, I am getting out of here. Shalom. Sorry that that stupid person decided to call and wasn't even a real phone call. It wasn't even friend or family or anything like that. So I don't even want to talk to nobody today about no business. All right, shalom. Peace out.